Recently, Oda is doing something quite unusual. He's been posting pictures of his desk and the plush Imu-sama figure. Today, we're going to take a closer look at his desk. Many fans have spotted clues there, including what seems to be a design for Imu-sama. And I'll also tell you how all of this ties into the current events in One Piece. And wow, people went absolutely crazy this week, folks. I've received this picture of Oda's desk so many times, because it's really rare that we get to see Oda's desk at all, especially with so many things lying around on it. For example, you can see designs of the Gorosei and more. We'll go over that picture in detail in a moment. A lot of people have already talked about it, but I also want to connect it with what's currently going on in One Piece, because it's not just a coincidence that Oda is posting this stuff now. He's never done anything like this before, posting real-life content through the official One Piece Twitter account. It all started with the release of the Imu-sama plush figure, and people started posting it everywhere, showing it in all sorts of situations from their lives. Oda's desk at all. Suddenly, Imu-sama was being posted left and right, and then Oda himself joined in placing the plush on his desk, on his toilet, and in front of all sorts of random objects. And of course, we One Piece fans immediately start coming up with ideas and speculations. You know how it goes, and I'm right there with you. For example, in the picture of the desk, you can see Imu-sama from behind, and Oda even placed Imu-sama's hand carefully holding the pen, the very same pen that Oda uses to draw this masterpiece for us. And just look at the chaotic desk, how cluttered and awesome it is. You can also spot a manga panel of Harold being stabbed by his own men. That scene already hinted at some demonic influence, possibly from Imu-sama. And maybe that's the hidden clue here. Imu-sama, sitting right in front of that scene, that panel. Maybe it's no coincidence it was placed there. It hasn't been officially revealed yet that Harold was under Imu-sama's control or cursed by him, but that might be exactly what this image is teasing. But maybe that's exactly the clue, something intentionally placed by Oda himself. And before I dive into the big image, the one where you can see even more, and where fans have already interpreted things and drawn fan art, let's first take a look at the other photos Oda posted recently, where he showcased Imu-sama. Strangely enough, Imu-sama keeps showing up in front of fish or sharks, like in front of Brook's guitar, which itself is shaped like a shark, or even inside the mouth of a shark. That same shark head is apparently installed above Oda's toilet. We all know that one. He showed it twice, even with Imu-sama inside the shark's mouth, and again inside the trash can mouth, and next to two skulls, like Halloween skeletons. That's very suspicious. Why next to skeletons? Why next to Brook's guitar? And why inside the shark's mouth? Especially when there's an official Brook illustration from Oda, where Brook himself is inside a shark's mouth. So what is the connection between Imu-sama and Brook? We know that Brook was once part of Gunko's royal guard. Gunko seems to be some kind of celestial dragon princess, and as a child, she was possibly inspired or emotionally touched by Brook and his music. That happened a long time ago, but maybe it means more. Maybe it's a sign that Imu-sama is immortal, just like Brook. And why always in front of that aquarium? What does Imu-sama have to do with the sea? Now here's a theory. Imu spelled backward is umi, which means sea in Japanese. That's why many fans believe Imu-sama has a power related to the sea itself. And don't forget, in the world of One Piece, the sea level has risen by 200 meters. So maybe Imu-sama is responsible for that too. Possibly the devil of the sea, in some form. I find this absolutely fascinating. Getting real-world clues from Oda himself? That's next-level stuff. We've never had anything like this all these years. And now this? Of course it could all be nonsense. A lot of people are probably saying right now, it's just promotion for the plush figure. And yes, there has been a lot of promotion for it. But these images from Oda's actual workspace, where he creates One Piece day in and day out, placing Imu-sama there so deliberately, that feels like something else entirely. And now, here it is, the big image, the one everyone's been talking about. Oda's actual desk, the original drawing desk, shown from behind as he sits at it. And it looks absolutely chaotic, people. On the left side, you can see Spotify open. He's either listening to something or just vibing. And honestly, there's barely any space to even draw. But I think it looks amazing. It's just so relatable and charming. Up in the top left corner, you can also spot the color schemes of the Gorosei. You can clearly recognize the original designs. And of course, people are freaking out, trying to interpret every tiny corner of this image. Naturally, there's not much you can make out clearly. The image quality at that distance, combined with the lighting, makes it nearly impossible to see fine details. But one thing is clear. The Gorosei are visible. You can spot Jupiter, the worm-like one, and the Harold panel on the desk is also clearly visible. And let's be honest, people, you can't tell me Oda placed all this randomly. When things are positioned like this, there's no way it's a coincidence. Look to the left side of the image. You can see a figure in a red cloak, holding either a long staff or perhaps just raising a hand with some kind of object. What does it mean? Who is this character? Naturally, fans believe it might be the real design of Imu-sama, And I also believe we're not far away now from seeing Imu-sama fully revealed in the manga. It could very well be that this is meant to be Imu-sama intentionally placed by Oda here, because honestly I can't think of any other character who looks like this in the current storyline. The figure even seems to be wearing a crown of some kind. I know it's hard to see clearly, but that's exactly why people have started upscaling the image and even asking AI like ChatGPT what it might be, or how it could look. Artists have tried to recreate the figure based on the visible outline. Of course, some of the fan art looks kind of goofy. What you're seeing here are rough sketches, and the real design will definitely look way cooler. That said, it doesn't necessarily have to be Imu-sama. It's still somewhat unlikely, but seriously, who else could it be? And the timing is just crazy. We've just now seen Rocksteady Zebek officially revealed, and no one expected that, especially with him being inside the room of flowers alongside Imu-sama. That's absolutely wild. Plus, Mary Jiwai's is currently burning. Imu-sama is, at this very moment in the current timeline, inside the body of Gunko on Elbaf. And it all makes sense. Once Imu-sama returns from Elbaf, they will likely come face to face with the attacker of Mary Jiwai's. And I believe that attacker is Blackbeard. That could very well be the moment where we finally get the big reveal of Imu-sama. I can really imagine that 2025 might be the year when we officially see Imu-sama's full appearance for the first time. Why do I think that? We still have that one message from Oda, and we should never forget it. It always drops at the end of the year during Jump Festa, that annual festival. Oda sends a letter to the fans about what's coming in the next year. For 2025, that message said something very interesting regarding the manga, the part we all care about, the ongoing story of One Piece. It stated that we finally arrived on Elbaf, but the appearance of a certain man would completely disrupt the piece. So now the question is, who is that man? Was it Loki? In the Elbaf storyline, Loki was said to be the one who caused unrest. Or was it Shamrock, the character who stormed the castle and caused absolute chaos? Or is it Imu-sama? Now yes, the message specifically says a man, and we still don't know if Imu-sama is male or female or even human, so it's a bit hard to say, but I actually don't think that part was referring to Imu-sama. Why? Because the message continues, it mentions that other abnormal phenomena will happen across the world, especially in other seas. And then comes the key sentence that really caught our attention. This one man will finally begin to turn the world upside down, to shake the world. So who is this one man? Is it Blackbeard? Or is it even Imu-sama? It could be either, because at this point, we really are entering the endgame of One Piece. We're now seeing massive reveals, week after week, and especially now that Imu-sama is actively involved in the main plot, even appearing in the current flashback, we're getting the Elbaf flashback, where we see Imu-sama in that mysterious room. It feels like things are accelerating. And yes, Imu-sama is currently in the present timeline, on Elbaf. You really just have to take all this in. Now of course the big question is, Imu-sama is currently inside Gunko's body. Gunko also seemed to have been in the room of flowers back then, possibly even when Zebek was there, if that really was her. She's this strange woman with two different eye colors, and now Imu-sama has switched into her body and is using it as a vessel. I believe, and this was even said by Imu-sama themselves while on site, that Gunko's body is definitely limiting Imu-sama's powers. It's not strong enough. If Imu-sama had access to their original body, things would be completely different, far more powerful. Imu would be able to fight on a much higher level. So what we're seeing now, even if Luffy, Loki, Zoro and Sanji are up there fighting, and even doing well against Imu-sama, we shouldn't assume this is Imu-sama's full power. Imu-sama is already one of the most intriguing characters, and we're slowly starting to see more and more of them revealed. Now is that mysterious character we saw at Oda's photo, the one in the red robe, actually the design for Imu-sama? What do you all think? Drop it in the comments. I personally believe it might be. Feel like Oda intentionally set that up, making sure it wasn't too clearly visible, keeping the resolution just blurry enough so we couldn't make it out completely. But still, it has to be a character design for something and clearly from the current timeline, because things like the Herald panel are also on that desk. And that's something that was only shown recently. So most likely, this character in the image is from the present storyline, and we might soon see this person maybe in red, based on the colors visible in the shot. And hey, if it's not Imu-sama, we'll know eventually. But if it is Imu-sama, then that's insane, because we've literally had their design right in front of our eyes all along. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, everyone. With that said, goodbye and see you next time.